How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, with France going to be releasing their squad for the upcoming game against Ireland, I wanted to run through my predictions and who I think is going to end up, starting for France. So, please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And hopefully, we'll be able to go through a couple questions through this video. So, let's break them down, right? So, starting off, number one, I have Gross. The guy, he's kind of cementing his place. He's keeping Ciro Baye out of the starting lineup. And the guy's playing his absolute socks off. We've seen his ability, his amazing ability to scrum, his ball handling skills. He's a very versatile forward. And yeah, it takes a lot to keep a player like Ciro Baye out of the squad. Like, it really takes a lot. Number two, we're moving into Malvaka. Now, we know just how important Malvaka is to France. His ability to play along that front row, his ability to help offensively, defensively. The guy's got bloody twinkle toes. He's such a brilliant ball carrier as well, and he loves to smash into people, right? So he is essentially what you want in a hooker. And not only that, he really does help getting those lineouts going and really, really pushing to gain meters. So yeah, Malvaka is pretty much an immediate starter. I don't think there's anyone that could potentially take that spot away from him. Then we move into my number three, Winnie Antonio, and now another person, a monster. The guy, for someone so big and so strong, he's got deceptively good handling skills. He's got deceptively good footwork. So the guy is just phenomenal, and you are going to want to play of his size, his presence, right? Especially when you have such a strong island squad ahead of you. So Antonio, I don't feel there's anyone that's going to be able to take his spot. I think he's pretty much nailed down that spot, and there's no changing him for that. He is going to play up against Ireland. We move into the locks. So number four, I have Romain. Obviously, he's been starting a lot with Miafao. Miafao, he did kind of get a little bit of a knock, but I saw when they changed that, they brought on a replacement in Flament, and Guillard started at 5. But now with Miafao coming back, I think he did get like a throat infection or something like that. But he is now training. I do believe he is going to be fit and ready. So we'll probably end up seeing Roma come at 4. And then we are going to see the man himself, Miafao, coming in at 5. I don't think I really need to explain to you why Miafao is such an important player, but he is one of the best ball carriers in the world. He is that man that he aims for the contact. Once he gets the contact, he's still pushing, he's still gaining yards, he's breaking the defensive line, and the guy is just an absolute tower. He's literally a fridge with legs. So anything that gets in his path is being taken out. And yeah, it's going to take a lot to stop Miafao in this game. So Ireland are really, really going to need to silence him before they can start getting things going. So yeah, Miafao, if he is fit, I do have him to start. Otherwise, I would play. We could potentially see Guillard and Flament come in as your locks. Now we move on into the back row. My number 6 is Kroos. He's been playing very well this Six Nations. I feel he's been relatively consistent. And this is the one thing that France would really love to have, is this back row to be so versatile that they can play in pretty much any position. So any of these could play a 6, 7, or an 8 quite effectively, and then they are able to transition so effortlessly between the three. And yeah, they have such good offensive work, defensive work, breaking the defensive lines, jackling. They kind of give you that full package. So yeah, number 6, I have Kroos. Number 7, I have Boudahan. The guy, again, he's got such a good work ethic. His defensive prowess is amazing. His attacking prowess is just as bloody good. And he really is a player that Ireland are going to need to silence. well, you need to silence the entire France squad, but there are certain players in the squad that they really need to focus on. They need to cut off supply. They need to make sure that they have the most horrible game possible. They're going to need to get into their heads because when you have players like Miafao, when you have players like Malvaka, when you have players like Budahan, or who moves on into my next one, Aldred at number 8, they are only going to cause you major, major, major problems, especially with the speed of play that France play at, right? But Aldred, the guy, he's been playing his socks off. The guy, he's been here, there, everywhere. He's been doing everything that's needed. The guy has been one of the most spectacular eights, not just in the Six Nations, in World Rugby. So, yeah, he's definitely starting for me, and I do feel nobody's going to take that spot outside of Aldred. So I have Aldred at number 8. Now, this is where it starts to get a bit more spicy because I do have Dupont at 9. Obviously, everybody's expecting that. The guy is quite possibly the best scrum off in the world, and there's even if he was to lose 2 legs, they would still probably end up playing him. So not too much to go in through Dupont. He does need to play his game. He needs to control. He needs to control that center, using his space, using time. You know, finding out what's needed, making the right decisions at the right time. And this is something that Dupont does very, very well. Always makes the right decision. He does not get flustered, and even when he does get surrounded, he finds a way around it. So, yeah, Dupont, I feel he's going to have an absolutely stellar game, whether France win or lose. Dupont is going to make things tick. He is going to control the tempo at least as best as possible because honestly, I do feel that this game is going to be fought between the nines. We have Jameson Gibson Park in Ireland, and then we have Antoine Dupont for France. Whoever's able to dictate play, whoever is able to stop play, to push for a higher tempo, to slow the game down, whoever is able to control that better is ultimately going to get the win. So for me, it's going to be the battle of the nines. Now for France, it's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough one because we've seen France. Sorry for 10. We've seen France do a lot of chopping and changing since Intermac got his red card. Um, we've seen Jalibert come in, and he left just as quickly as he came in. We saw Thomas Ramos come in at 10, and when he came in at 10, Leo Barret filled in at 15. Barret got 2 tries. Dupont had an absolutely not Dupont. Thomas Ramos had an absolutely stellar performance at 10, but ultimately Romain Ntamaki is back after his suspension, and the the halfback kind of gel between Dupont and Ntamak, it's like they're telepathic at times. They don't even need to speak to understand what they're doing, where they want to go, and what kind of pass needs to be made. Right? They know it instinctively, and this is one of the things that make them so great. This is one of the best pairings in world rugby. So, yeah, there has been a lot of controversy in relation to Tamak and his suspension. Obviously, Gary Ringrose had a different. Well, he still got a red card, but the rules were a little bit different to Gary Ringrose to Tamak. So France are appealing the decision, and I don't know what they expect to get out of it because Ntamak is now back and playing. But yeah, they might be looking to take things further in relation to that. But Ntamak, he is one of the most elite tens in the world, and he does such a good job of having this brilliant balance of knowing when to go, knowing when to hold back, to work in their pocket, to find space, to really make things tick, be the general of of the squad. And when you have the likes of Dupont in front of you, right, there's going to be dictating play. Then what you need to do as a 10 is now open up the game, right? Use the players around you. It's going to be ridiculous. So, yeah, Intermac at 10. My centers are pretty much the same. I do have Mofana at 12. He's coming off of a brilliant game. the guy, he's just had a brilliant Six Nations. He's such a brilliant ball carrier. And yeah, definitely one of the best centers about. So number 12, I have Mofana. Number 13, I have Barassi, another player coming off of a stellar performance. You know, what more can be said? France have some of the best centers in world rugby. So yeah, 13, I have Barassi. Now my wingers is where I get a little bit of a change. So my number 11, I'm keeping at BLBRA. We've seen how positive he is. We've seen how electric his pace is, and the guy is an absolute beast. So if he is able to have the game that I think he's going to have, there's not going to be any stopping him. But Ireland are very, very resilient. So yeah, 11, I have BLBRA. Now number 14, this is where things get a little bit spicy because most people would think Pinot would come in. I don't. I think Atisogbe is going to be coming in because of his performances in the Six Nations. He's had some brilliant performances in the Six Nations. He scored 3, 4 tries. He's been there. We saw in the last game just how dominant he can be as well, chasing down balls, making big tackles, creating that space, using his lines, following the lines of play, where I think it was BLBRA in the last game to assist Atisogbe's try, right? But it's all about finding those spaces, and this is something that Atisogbe does very well, along with having electric pace, like BLBRA electric pace. So personally, I do think Atisogbe is going to start, and then we might not even see Pinot come on, So yeah, I do think France is probably going to run a 7-1 split, and then they're going to have Luku again as the only back. But only time will tell in relation to that. But I do feel Atisogbe is going to start the game, and he is going to see it through. And then my number 15, I have Thomas Ramos, as you would expect. I think the only reason why Thomas Ramos might not play at the 15 is if he's filling in at 10 and someone else needs to take that spot in his absence. So, yeah, Thomas Ramos, for me, there's no need for it. One of the best kickers of all time. The guy is just fabulous. He is phenomenal. So, yeah, Ramos, he can play so well. And the thing is, with France, they are so versatile from their back row to their midfielders to their wingers. They are so versatile and they can play in so many different positions, which really gives Galtier a little bit more confidence in his players to say, look, you can do this, 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 and this. I want to start trying to train you on X, Y, and Z, and they are really starting off well. So, yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting game, and I cannot wait to see it. Like I say, we do have, I think France is due to release their squad on Thursday, and I will do a video in relation to that. But this is just my kind of outlook on the game, who I think is going to start, and how I think the game's going to go. So I do have Ireland to win ever so slightly, maybe by a try, but I do feel this is going to be a game late on in the match where things are going to happen, things are going to change, and that is where the games are going to be won. So I do feel that this match is going to be deadlocked for a good portion of the day. But ultimately, late in the second half, you're going to see Ireland come back resurgent. They're going to get themselves a try. They're going to convert it, and boom! Next thing you know, Ireland beat France. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your team is, right? Who do you think is going to be going? Who do you think is going to be staying? And ultimately, I would love to see who your bench is. So please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.